Yeah, hello again, guys. It's Friday lunchtime now, and I'm just going to try and get another quick upload in. This one is about Barcelona, so I'm going back around 10 years or so to 2010, 2011, and what it was. I had decided to go on a holiday with my friend John, who I knew from outside. He was a friend from childhood, but also I had been banged up with him in Highdown when he was doing his 4-year sentence for, I think it was cannabis. Yeah, but I went to a different nick, and so did he, but that was at the start of his sentence and my 3-year sentence. So yeah, years later, we reconnected again, and we decided to go to Spain for an extended holiday. And after that, we was planning to go after Spain to Thailand, where John had lived there in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, for a few years earlier. So yeah, basically, yeah, we're out in Barcelona, and we are on the drug scene out there. We're using heroin out there and cocaine, both intravenously. And the scene out there is very different from over here in England. We were staying in an area called Besos Mar, which is a very diverse area and very well known for its drugs scene and stuff like that. So yeah, so this one time, we met a few characters out there, me and John. My nickname was English, because I didn't speak much Spanish, but I tried best I could. And this girl, Jenny, she gave me that nickname, and this one time, this Jenny, she was seeing this guy, Bruno, from France. Yeah, so me and John, we were staying in this house, villa type place, really nice, had a little lemon tree in the garden and stuff like that. And we were in the shooting gallery. Basically what that is, in Spain, in Barcelona then, you could, if you'd got a Class A drugs and you went to a shooting gallery, you could use them there and inject there without fear of being arrested. These places were run by their equivalent of our local councils, over there they're called a sanitation department. They were running these places. But the thing was, you could be arrested while you was attempting to buy drugs or en route to a shooting gallery. So this is a place where we met people like Bruno and Jenny, and we used to go there every day, But this one time, this Bruno guy was saying he had nowhere to stay and could he stay at our place. And me and John, being like friendly guys we are, we said, yeah, you can stay tonight, and obviously he came back, he stayed the night, and he said, could he stay a bit longer? And we agreed, but unbeknown to us, he was seeing this girl, Jenny, who was from the Canary Islands, and living in Barcelona now. But I had noticed before that she had a scar on her shoulder, right above some really nice tattoos she had. She was sort of like a bit punky looking, a bit sort of gothic looking even, so she had these really nice tattoos, but she had like a really bad scar, burn mark on her upper shoulder there. And yeah, so unbeknown to us, this Bruno's seeing this girl, but you know, I'll tell you what and what we didn't know in a minute. So basically, you know, he's been staying at our place in this little house, you know, with a lemon tree, and you know, he's keeping himself to himself. He's got a little room there, you know. So we only sort of seeing him in the evenings, you know, and we're just basically letting him get on with his own thing. So we noticed that the girl Jenny had been coming to visit him, you know, once or twice. But, you know, but this one time, she was in there with him, you know, in the room, in the bedroom where they were, doing whatever they were doing, taking drugs, getting it on, I don't know, listening to music, whatever. And we was in the other room, yeah. And then we'd heard the door go and presumed either he'd gone out or they'd both gone out together and thought nothing of it, you know, because we was in the back room, sitting in there, chilling out, listening to music or whatever, you know, probably out of it, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, we've got ready for bed, and we've gone to sleep and that. So in the middle of the night, I'm fast asleep, but funny enough, I've been woken up by John, who's shaking me, going, Sean, wake up, mate, wake up. And I'm like, what, mate? What are you on about? I'm tired, leave it out. We'll sort it out in the morning, all this. And he's like, no, mate, you got to get up. There's a fire. We're going to burn to death. Wake up. And I was like, what? Do you know what I mean? I didn't believe him. I thought he was winding me up. But then I see all the smoke coming through the gap at the bottom of the door. And, you know, and basically I was so out of it and so passed out, I found it hard to get up. But basically he just got hold of my top and pulled me up, you know. And, you know, it was winter, so luckily we was wearing like tracksuits or whatever, you know. So he's pulled me up and said, come on, mate, we've got to get out of here or we're going to die. And basically, by the time I'd got my eyes open fully, I couldn't see anything. The whole place was just full of thick, dark smoke, yeah. But, yeah. So basically, he's got to the door, held the door open, and basically got me out. And then we've had to sort of crawl through the hallway, you know, up to the front door, out the front yard and out of the building, yeah. And when we got across the street, you know, because we're both pretty scared, really, you know, and we got across the street and then we turned around and had a look at the building and realised how bad it was. The whole place was on fire, yeah. You know, and we were just about to scarper because we heard sirens, and that would be the bombers, they're called, the fire brigade out there. So they were on their way. But just as we was about to turn and leg it, we see Bruno staggering out the front door as well. So unbeknown to us, he was in there, you know, and he was he was only a little guy, this French guy, and he was covered in soot all over his face, all over his clothes, you know, because he was a bit of, you know, he slept in his clothes and stuff like that, you know. It was a bit like that. A lot of the people out there, it was that sort of scene. And, you know, he was homeless most of the time. So, yeah. So he's crawled out of there screaming and, you know, I think his jeans are still on fire a little bit, you know. It was crazy. And then we've seen him and then thought, well, he's all right. He's breathing and stuff. And me and John had just ran off and scarpered, you know, because we didn't want to get in trouble or anything like that, you know, because out there you got loads of different agencies like the Guardia Civil, the Policia Nacional, Policia Local, you know, at least 3-4 different agencies, you know, and they don't particularly like English people. Well, not English people like us, you know, at the time we was out there on a drug-taking holiday, so, you know, they're not going to like that. But like I say, we ran off. And me and John, we didn't go back that night. We stayed out all night because we presumed, you know, you wouldn't be able to go back there. It'd be that bad. So the night's gone by. Me and John, we just walked around for the rest of the night, you know, and it was cold because it was winter then. But in the morning, we went to the El Local, which is the the shooting gallery I was talking about. That's what it was called in Besos. And Bruno turned up. Yeah, and he had all bandages over his arms and stuff like that, and some bandages on his face and stuff. You know, he had some minor burns. I don't think it was anything major, you know, and some smoke inhalation, you know, but he'd been let out and stuff. And basically, what had happened when we was asleep, and you know, and I mean, John told me later on that he'd heard the noise, but he half heard the noise because he was sort of half asleep. And if he'd been fully asleep, you know, we could both be dead. But so basically, he did save my life. John did, and sadly, he has since passed away. Which, you know, he was pretty much my best friend at the time. You know, and I was very sad about that. But like I was saying, yeah, we're in the needle exchange the next day, and we've seen this Bruno, and basically we found out what has actually happened. He's the girl he was seeing, Jenny. Before he was even out there, this had happened a year or so previously. She'd been with a guy, a local guy from Barcelona, and he'd overdosed or something in her company. And you know, he was from a well-known family, and they really didn't like her, basically. You know, and basically, that's how she got her scar. You know, a year or so before, because they petrol bombed the house where she was living because of her connection to the lad that had overdosed. You know, she was his partner. And what had happened, this family in Barcelona had found out that Jenny was seeing this Bruno guy, and where they were staying, which just happened to be the place where me and John was living. You know, the little villa there with the lemon tree in the garden. Yeah, so basically what had happened, they'd crept up to the window to the villa where where Jenny and Bruno's room was, and basically thrown a petrol bomb through the window. Yeah, and but when they'd done it, Jenny wasn't in there. It was only Bruno, unbeknown to them. Obviously, they wanted to get both of them, I should imagine. But yeah, so basically, that's what the petrol bombing was all about, and the fire was all about. So pretty dangerous stuff. You know, we could have all lost our lives. So, but you know, we was in a different country, and you don't fuck about out there. You know, basically, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So yeah, and basically after that, we didn't hear no more about it. Me and John, we went and rented somewhere else in a place called Badalona, which is just up the coast there from Barcelona, and we stayed there for a few weeks, and eventually he went back to the villa, but I couldn't tolerate it there because it needed decorating, and you know, and I couldn't live there. It was just too much, all the after everything that happened after the fire and stuff. So yeah, but eventually we both came home and that, and John eventually he overdosed in Sutton, you know, which was a real shame, and obviously I was really upset about that, and went to his funeral and stuff, and you know, spoke to one of his kids and stuff like that, you know, because I knew his mum, I knew John's mum. She used to work in the catering department in Downview Prison, you know, and bless her, you know, and she suffered dementia and other stuff. Sadly, she's passed away as well, you know, and yeah, I mean, if I ever needed like a roll of silver foil or something, a nice big roll of Baco foil, you know, because foil was hard to get, you know, it got banned in the prisons in the 90s, you know, you ended up having to get stuff that had paper stuck to it and scrape off the paper with fairy liquid and water and stuff, you know, it was really awkward. So yeah, things like that were really handy. So yeah, she'd always give me extra helpings of food, and you know, and yeah, big rolls of silver foil when I needed it, all sorts of things. Be able to borrow money off, you know, all sorts. So yeah, Betty, she was a really nice lady. So rest in peace, Betty. I miss you, and rest in peace, John Cummins. I miss you, mate. Sadly, you're not with us anymore. So yeah, a bit of a sad one today, but I wanted to start my Barcelona stories off with this one, you know, because virtually all of my Barcelona stories are going to be about me and the time I spent there with John. And obviously there's plenty of other characters we met along the way, you know. We was out there for quite a while, not 2 years, but about a year and a half or so around that time. Yeah, so, you know, I remember I came back once and then went back out there and stuff like that, you know, and yeah, I got a lot of stories and a lot of good memories from that time. You know, like I say, it's a different scene out there, and I hope you found it interesting watching this one. And yeah, hope you guys all have a really good weekend, and I shall speak to you all soon, guys, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye.